Investment pitch deck structure. There are different types of pitch deck structures, but I will talk today about my favorite one called Sequoia Capital pitch deck structure. I worked with a lot of founders. I worked with more than 200 companies, and I built pitch decks to raise more than $3 billion altogether, with the biggest fundraise was around $900 million. On this channel, I want to talk with you about different aspects of investor communications, how we can sell better with the pitch decks and visual communication. So let's talk today about this structure of the pitch deck, specifically focused on investors and maybe more specifically on venture capital investors. So there are different types of structures recommended by different universities, venture funds like Hosla Ventures or Venture University, but my favorite one called Sequoia Capital, as I already told you, and there are just several simple slides. Let's talk about them. They specifically don't talk about the title slides, and I think we should create a separate video about that. But the second slide and the beginning of their structure is a company goal. Very simple. They want to know in one sentence why you create that company, what value you want to provide to your potential customers or partners. So that's going to be the second slide and the beginning of their structure. And then it's going to be simple structure called problem solution. This is really popular framework, and there are other frameworks, for example, like old world, new world. We can also talk about them later. So problem slide, solution slide, basically the problem you're focusing on and the solution, how you attack this problem, how you will provide value through that problem. Then it's going to be a market size slide, and it's very important slide because it should talk about why the market you focus on is good for you or your potential investors or partners. So this market should be big enough, but not too big. That's another problem a lot of founders from, for example, healthcare space fell into, because they see that some of the problem is like $1 trillion big, and you cannot pitch this huge of a market for the early stage company where just a couple people working on. So basically it's better be around hundreds of millions of dollars. We're also gonna talk about that. After that, one of my favorite slides gonna be like, why now? It's a really great slide. It's actually a very powerful and storytelling slide, because it should explain why you're building company right in this historical moment. Why it's important to build your specific company right now? Because we always have a lot of changes, but we have some specific changes to your industry. For example, with a lot of tech companies I work now, AI and the development of AI is like really big thing, and it's really important to highlight what is specifically important about this artificial intelligence or some other technology developments very important for your specific niche. After that, it should be slide about the competitors. You want to highlight why you're better than them, of course, but you also want to highlight that you know about them, but they have some other focus or some other strategy, and you have, of course, the most sophisticated and smart strategy, right? After that, it should be a slide about the team. You want to highlight some specific talents you use, why your team is the best team in the world to attack this problem. Really important point. And after that, it's going to be financials. So I believe I mentioned all of them. So company goal, problem, solution, market, competitors, why now, team, financials. I believe them. That's all. Maybe I forgot something. Please write me in a comment and we will create a separate video about that. Yeah, and subscribe to this channel and like this video if you want to get more content about that pitch deck, investor communication. That's basically the thing I work with my team in my company. I switched the focus a bit from self-driving and transportation space to that investor communication and maybe even design space, and we had a lot of great traction on that. Worked with amazing companies and founders and build amazing materials for them, help them to sell, help them to fundraise. So it's a great thing I want to talk more about on this channel. Thank you so much and subscribe. Bye.